Trump launched the meme coin that Friday night. Solana, very impressively so, was able to handle a ton of volume, 20-30% of all NASDAQ volume. For anyone out there that's still skeptical that we can't bring a billion users on chain, you're very wrong. Meme coins are proving that. But here's where it breaks down is the retention is non-existent.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another Wealth 28 Club podcast. I'm your host, CYPRX, here with my co-host, Mr. Aqua. What's going on, brother? How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. It's a good day today. Good Friday. Feeling great. How you living?
It is, man. Honestly, I'm really good, bro. That's why today the sun's out for the first time in like 3 days, so I'm having a great day too to full circle that.
Yeah, they didn't spray the sky over here in LA, so we got the sun poking out over here, so...
But so back to the intro, guys and gals, welcome everybody. Now that we have some more people rolling in today's call, we are going to again be showing you guys that DeFi is in the process of changing how money works, and that banks are for a fact interested, and large players that we all have known and researched over the past consecutive couple of years are for a fact interested in DeFi. Giants like Ripple, Algo, XLR, so on and so forth, they're all playing a massive role in this digital transformation, and they're laying the foundation right now for regulated DeFi. So in today's call, this is going to be a 2-part, maybe even 3-part video breakdown where we're going to go into detail, dive through the nitty-gritty, do some of the research, show you guys some recent fundamentals, some panel discussions, documentation that nobody's paying attention to, showing you guys that this is for a fact to be the case. If you wake up, if you do your research, if you apply yourselves properly, like Aqua was saying, shift out of this mindset of this investment that you're making. Crypto is just some get rich quick schematic. It's going to make you a lot of money, or you're going to turn yourself into a millionaire over the next whatever amount of years through normal just buy and hodl mindset, price appreciation. That's so 2000 and like before 22 mindset. You have to move with the changing tides, learning how to generate yield, passive looping strategies that you can participate in, the preservation of your capital and your assets long-term through trusts and active security measurements. All of that plays into a role of your survivability and your longevity in this space. And in my personal opinion, and I know Aqua shares this as well, people aren't paying enough attention. So we're going to continue to do the due diligence and show you guys that DeFi is not some scam, crypto is not some scam, that regulated entities and institutions that actually have a name in the space with credentials are paying attention to these things. They are launching these products that are live now, regulated now, and available to use right now in the moment. And people still think that this is not happening. So we're going to continue to make an attempt to show people that it is. Whatever you guys decide to do with that information is up to you. We'd love to have you on the CYPRX Wealth 28 Club team. You guys can always tap in with us over at CYPRXTrading.com. You guys can see some of the research behind the scenes, the things in which we're doing and how we are participating in these markets. But outside of that, always do your own personal research. None of this is financial advice. None of the projects that we talk about are set to be the chosen ones in the future, all right? Always do your own personal risk assessment and your own research. I cannot stress that enough. We're going to show you documents. We're going to show you websites. We're going to show you all panel discussions that have all recently taken place. And again, what you guys choose to do with that information, always just take it and go and apply your own risk assessment and so on and so forth, and read and do the due diligence yourself. So yeah, anyways, Aqua, I don't know, man, if you wanted to share your post first from this rising, so we kind of just have a fruitful conversation about the importance of DeFi and people, not only in our community paying attention, but really just applying themselves and being a part of the very small percentage of people that are actually utilizing this tech for what it's a part of what it's meant for.
Yeah, bro. I will pull up the post. I mean, this is what keeps me motivated, to be honest with you, because, we hear everything, right? With like what we do as far as, putting ourselves out there, discussing the things that we discuss and sharing what we share. And not everybody's going to agree with us, but the people that do tap in with us, I mean, they absolutely they rock with us. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to say this humbly, but like I get messages like this pretty much every single week. You know what I mean? And hold on, let me just pull up the link. I just want to share it with you guys, but this is what we're doing for people. Oh, you already pulled it up? Okay, let me come back to my screen. Yeah, so this is, one of the Discord members, Tunnel Me Not. And if you want to, just click on the actual screenshot. I could start there real quick here. But yeah, I woke up, he sent that yesterday. I didn't see it last night. I woke up to it. So he said, what you and Cypress have built with Wealth 28 is absolutely amazing. I appreciate and honor y'all's, for the heavy lifting, real talk. Seeing stuff like this, just keeps me super motivated. It's just like, damn, like you see the hard work that we're putting in. Like the Zoom call that I was on, that I was running yesterday, had like over 50 people in it. And like I was sharing all kinds of just gems and just certain things in what's going on in crypto that we should all be aware of. And like it was one of the most intellectual conversations that we continuously have. I can't even say that was the only one. Like it's like every Zoom, and then when Cypress runs Zooms, they're just fire. Like at the end when we open it up for discussion, the discussion just gets so super impactful and real, and hearing everybody else's feedback and then to be able to learn from everybody else too is just, this community is amazing. So, huge shout out to Tunnel Me Not. I believe this is Carlton. So shout out Carlton, and just shout out to everybody, in the club, in the Discord. Like you guys feel the energy. You guys know what it is. So yeah, this motivated me to, put up a post, and at the same time, coincidentally, Cypress woke up to a post as well, and he was like, yo, bro, this is so crazy that we're thinking the same shit. And like, and yeah, man, the synchronicities when you're just tapped in with one another. This is an ongoing thing too with me and Cypress. We always got these synchronistic things that pop up together, and it's just like, dude, that's so wild. So, I mean, it's just like the universe letting us know we're, right where we're supposed to be, right? But yeah, those posts and those type of messages, they keep me going. They keep your boy going over here. So I appreciate it. I
like shout out to Ruby in the chat. Ruby's one of the CYPRX OGs, man. Dude's been in the community since it existed. But he just said we got all those storms, and I'm pretty sure he's in Florida, and he said this is cool. I'm telling you, bro. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. This is the message that we received this in the DeFi section, and this just kind of falls in line with what I said in the intro, ladies and gentlemen. So as we kind of kick off this video breakdown in this maybe 2 or 3 part series where we show you guys this stuff, people are waking up, and people are going to slowly continue to participate and really awaken themselves to the power of this new technology. Not only DeFi and not only crypto. I mean, I take it so much broader than that on my Twitter, and not really on YouTube, but on Twitter, I constantly talk about documents. I find regulated documents from regulated institutions all telling you guys that this stuff is happening. Like, we're not here with any smokescreen hopium information. If you actually go on the CYPRX platforms, on our CYPRX Research Labs Twitter, my personal Twitter, and go back and look at the content, we never really make price predictions, hardly ever, if that. And when we do, it's all intraday accurate information because we got institutional delta zones. So we rarely ever miss because we got institutional information and data. And then it's documents, right? So tap in. This stuff is powerful that we're paying attention to, and that our community has awakened to, and people are truly benefiting. They're learning. I can't say that at the end of the day, everybody's making as similar amounts of money that myself and other people are, because everybody's different. But either way, it's not about that. It is about education. So I said here, you do not need to be rich. You need to be willing to learn. I'm going to mute your mic, Aqua. You need to be willing to learn, willing to ask questions when others are too lazy to ask. You need to be willing to open the door and walk through it when opportunities give you the key. Right? That's what type of era we are in right now. People, this is a 4th industrial transformation.
And this is the third aspect that I want to talk about, which is the greatest wealth transfer in history. And what I'd like you all to think about is, what is that number? And I'm going to tell you that number in a second. What is the number that the silent generation and baby boomers actually have in terms of wealth? And I will tell you that it's the largest that has ever been held in history. And that number is $100 trillion. It is a huge amount. Now, the reality is that over the next 20 years, circa 85 trillion is going to be transferred. So this is the largest intergenerational wealth transfer we will see in history. Now, obviously,
if you go back and you do research on every other industrial transformation, there's a certain onset of individuals of the population that supersede the rest of the population because they get it. Right? That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do much else. It does take a lot of elbow grease, don't get me wrong, but really all you have to do is read, open your mind, be aware to the bullshit, avoid the bullshit, and apply the stuff that matters. And if you can do that over a prolonged period of time, your survivability during this digital transformation goes up from maybe where it's at now to like a 3 to 5. If you just have this hodl long-term mindset, that's all you're going to do, cold storage, and eventually you'll get to the end in 2030. Versus if you take all these necessary actions to actually protect yourself, to actually preserve your capital, and actually grow and expand your wealth and your way of thinking over the next 5 years, that person is going to supersede the person that does nothing and buy and just hodls. Promise you. Right? This is an active transformation. This is not just some transformation that you can just dabble around in and not take it serious. You got to go full force head on to survive 5 years from now into the 2030 agenda. And people are, and more people will, and those people will supersede the rest of the population. So you don't need to be rich to do this. You do not need to have a large amount of money to take a mentorship or to start to learn and educate yourself about DeFi, right? You just need to have the willingness to learn. And if you can do that, you can go read documents. Myself, Aqua, we're always posting free information. People all the time are like, oh, you guys do a mentorship this. You could soak up all the free shit that we give. You could learn a very good amount. And that's a start. And that's all free. And if you don't like our content, you guys can go read bank documents. You can go watch these bank panel discussions and all this stuff yourself, which I encourage you to do because it's all publicly available information. You just have to know where to find it. Because if your algorithm on YouTube, a lot of people don't know this, if your algorithm on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram are all fucked up, which they most likely are, I can guarantee you, your algorithms are not going to pick up on the information.
To the most vulnerable people in the world, the poor.
Yeah.
But these are the issues of our day. Think about your own lives. What you read, what you know, what you watch, what you buy, everything is increasingly determined by algorithms. Our lives are being taken over by so
here at CYPRX, that's all we focus on, and that's all our algorithms are tapped into. So every single week, bro, this week, I guarantee you, there was over 1,000 hours of content that the CYPRX researchers dropped in the CYPRX research chat that I guarantee you 90% of the crypto population has no idea on the crypto population on Twitter has no idea even exists. Guaranteed.
Yeah, no, you're speaking facts, bro. I guarantee it as well, man.
Some of the documents, like if you go in the research chat and you look up the documents that Break Free from the Matrix has shared over the past, let's just say a week, because he's been doing it for months now, but let's just say the past week, over 100 documents from institutions, banks, the largest players in the game, all telling us partnerships, Ripple this, Stellar that, Hedera this.
Hey, not to mention, bro, LinkedIn, bro, the amount of links that get shared too in that part of the Discord that take us to LinkedIn, to like these people's actual accounts, and to where you can go back and look at their resume as well. You know what I mean? Like the LinkedIn part is what blows my mind. It's just like it becomes so personal.
We're going to do all that today on the call. It's going to be epic. So back to what myself and Aqua are talking about now that we got 877 people here. We always just like to keep the conversation fruitful. Let's wrap this portion of the video up since we're 20 minutes in, and then we'll transition over to the second portion. So this is one of our private members, Alejandro, and he went on to say this was powerful. I mean, people were vibing on this. The conversation after this in the chat was just so motivational. People were like, heck yeah, let's go. This is crazy. Zoom calls were also, like Mr. Aqua said, very fruitful the week before. So it was just, it was cool. He said here, because we were talking about the Genius Act and what it's targeting, right? We were talking about the Genius Bill, stablecoins and whatnot. And they went on to say that by learning how to provide liquidity to pools of assets in DeFi, we are essentially positioning ourselves for becoming our own DeFi liquidity provider business via having a capital pool of assets in a treasury, a liquidity strategy, risk management, and ultimately automation, a Web3 LLC. Now, it can go so much deeper than this, but that is freaking powerful. Alejandro, shout out to you if you're listening to this, bro. This was mesmerizing because it is something, again, that we pay attention to in the CYPRX private community. Wealth 28 Club is insanely underrated and teaches something so unfathomably lucrative that the majority of people worldwide still can't even begin to understand why it's useful or worthwhile, bro. What? That is so powerful. Soon, Eventually, the mainstream media will begin reporting on Web3, which they already are, because it will become more and more part of our society, just like Web2 has in the last 20 years. We are in a very critical position in the evolution of the internet. We are positioned perfectly to front run this innovation and its attributes that will slowly blend into our daily lives without most of us even realizing it, which is a fact, bro. Most people in the next 10 years will be utilizing blockchain rails and DeFi in their banking mobile app, and they won't even know that it's blockchain and distributed ledger tech running the entire backend system.
Things that have never been done in crypto that we've really pressure tested, which is we'll bring a user to our chain that has never existed. It's a user that doesn't care if Bitcoin's at 100K or 20K. Why? Because he doesn't even realize that crypto's on the back end, but there is very real economic activity being settled on the chain, and there's MEV, and there's other type of activity. And so I think, like, look, the narrative recently has been, do we need more infra? Do we need another chain? And the answer here is very much so, because no one's focused on bringing a user that, again, is not here for speculation. You know, the percentage of fees that are derived from speculation in any other chain are 2/3 or the bulk majority of it. For me, a KPI is, one, crypto's invisible. It's real economic activity, core services. We're talking about mobile. We're talking about banking. And it's bringing a user that is very unsuspecting. You know, it's sort of like, you know, they're using a core service of a business that we've bought, so the retention is much higher. I think Rob, one of your partners, did a phenomenal analysis when Trump launched the meme coin that Friday night. You know, Solana, very impressively so, was able to handle a ton of volume, 20-30% of all NASDAQ volume. For anyone out there that's still skeptical that we can't bring a billion users on chain, you're very wrong. For anyone out there that's still skeptical that we can't bring a billion users on chain, you're very wrong.
But we will.
Yeah, 100%. It's just gonna look like the internet to them, low key. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah. This is super powerful so far.
So let's finish it off to wrap this portion of the video up. He said, learning about this volatile market has really taught me a lot about the market dynamics and investor psychology and how important politics and economic choices can affect quite literally everything else in the market, which is something we go over every single day in CYPRX. Literally, I host a Zoom call every single day, if not every other day, depending on the news fundamentals, covering geopolitics, covering tariffs, covering central bank policy positioning, covering what the freaking Minister of Finance said for the Bank of Japan. Nobody else on the internet is doing that right now, bro. We are, and our community is tapped in, bro.
Yeah, breaking down Jerome Powell. I mean, and if you don't run a Zoom, you're sending a Canva report. Like, bro, we know why the market is down when it's down. That's why we're not over here tripping and we're buying the blood. Like, we're over here celebrating in the Discord when everything goes on hot sale.
It's crazy, bro. It's like a shark frenzy. I think of the Discord as like when the market drops 100 billion and I'm typing out my report and I'm about to tell the community that the market's down 70 to 100 billion. I already know for a fact we're going to get 20 messages after that. Like, oh, dollar cost average, where a scalper gets blown up. Everybody's asking for deltas. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Printing.
It's good stuff. And what's even better is that because of the institutional deltas that we have, the dark pools in this community, which like so many people don't even know exist. It's so insanely accurate. It blows my mind how accurate it is. I mean, there's those people out there that are like, oh, this indicator will do this for you. This download this algorithm, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff is garbage, bro. I showed, listen, this is how ignorant people are on the internet. I got to rant for a second. I literally uploaded a video breakdown the other day showing people how we built, showing how we built an algorithm and a program that upholds freaking notifications, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah. No, I definitely did, bro. That beat uphold, bro.
And we don't only beat upholds notifications, we beat Coinbase's notifications.
The Trump teams.
we beat the fucking Trumps, yo. Oh my God, I forgot about that, bro. We beat the Trumps on say
1,000, bro. 1,000. Yep.
Dang, you just hyped me up, bro. I wasn't gonna toot my own horn, but
I mean, there's a bunch of calls. I mean, even Sui, if you want to do a throwback, Want to run a throwback? You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to run a throwback. Let's go back on topic because we were supposed to end this call. Dang, I got to dial it back. I get so excited, bro. It's just because, again, data is the new oil, and whoever's got the best data, I've said it before, is winning. Being young and willing to take risks, deciding to jump into crypto and learning about this idea of blockchain, Alejandro continues to say, that I vaguely explored in the past. DeFi only came later as my path aligned with those of others. But man, I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for my sheer curiosity, humility, and conviction to keep learning, which is exactly why I said you don't need to be rich. You just need to be willing to learn. The idea of breaking out of this rat race was too strong. And that mindset really translated into physical action without me having to think twice about it. Most people around me don't understand or they don't care to. They just want the results to speak for themselves. And to that I say, hell yeah. That is such a powerful post in the Discord this week. That was honestly probably one of the most powerful posts in the Discord this week that one of the private members made. So shout out to Alejandro. So let's wrap it up there for the first portion of today's video breakdown. We got 1,000 people on the Friday call. Many blessings to you guys. Welcome back. If you're watching this as a recording, this is going to be the first portion of today's video breakdown. Do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you guys enjoyed so far. We're going to be diving into, in the second portion of today's video breakdown, documents, fundamentals that have just recently come out, panel discussions from some of the largest names and organizations in the game, Algo, Ripple, diving into some Ripple content, diving into some XLR connections, Ondo, all that stuff in today's video breakdown, showing you guys that, you know, we're in the process of this massive transformation. So